All right, let's take a look at some redox chemistry today. So, when we're looking at redox, redox is short for oxidation reduction. Okay, so that's what we're going to jump into here. So, there we go, a little animation to go with it. So, what is redox? Well, when we look at different chemical reactions, a lot of times we notice that there seems to be electrons that are moving around. So oxidation is the loss of electrons. And we see that right here, right? When sodium is ionized, it becomes Na plus one. Well, that means it loses an electron. So if we write that out as a chemical equation, we can see that that electron is now separate from the sodium. Reduction is the gain of electrons. Think about the fact that if you add an electron to a compound, its charge will go down, right? It'll become more negative. So reduction is the gain of electrons. We can see that right here. So let's say that sodium loses that electron, and then chlorine gains that electron. Well, now chlorine is going from neutral to negative. And so this is the apparent transfer of electrons. This would be reduction and oxidation. Now, there's an easy way to remember that, okay? Oil rig. An oil rig stands for um, oxidation is loss and reduction is gain. So oxidation is loss, reduction is gain of electrons. That's what we're talking about there, right? Of electrons. Now, in order to figure out where electrons are moving or who is losing and who is gaining electrons, we have to add what are called oxidation numbers or oxidation states to each element in the compound. Now, an oxidation number is the charge that the atom would have if all the electrons in the bond were entirely possessed by the more electronegative element. That is the official definition. Well, let's look and see what that looks like in practice. So, HCl doesn't involve any charges, right? However, if the most electronegative element in HCl had the electrons all to itself, so in this case chlorine, then chlorine would be a -1 charge and hydrogen would be a +1 charge. We call these apparent charges or oxidation numbers or oxidation states. And basically, what oxidation numbers are just bookkeeping tools. They let us keep track of where the electrons are going because if I look at the reactant side and then I compare that to the product side, I can see whose electrons are moving, whose charges are changing. So that's what we're doing here. There are some rules that are used for signing oxidation numbers, and you need to pause this video and you need to write these down in your notes, okay? But I'll go through them one at a time. So the first rule is that all pure elements and homogeneous molecules have an oxidation number of 0, okay? If you are a group 1A element, you have a +1 charge. If you're a group 2A element, it's a +2 charge. When they're bonded, silver, zinc, and aluminum have +1, +2, or +3, respectively. In a binary compound, so that's just two elements, the second element is going to be equal to the normal anion charge. So, like if it's a halogen, it's going to be -1. If it's a chalcogen, it's -2, so on and so forth. Oxygen is pretty much always -2. Now, there are some cases where that's not true. It can be -1, but the introductory chemistry that we're doing, you can assume that oxygen is going to be -2. Hydrogen is almost always +1. All right, same thing as oxygen. It can have a variable charge. However, for what we're doing, we can assume it's +1. And then number 8 is really important. Unless a compound has a charge, the total charge of the compound is always 0. So when you add the oxidation states up, they should come out to 0. So let's look at a sample problem. All right, let's apply those rules. So have those rules in front of you in your notes, and let's answer this question. What are the oxidation numbers of the elements in Na2SO4? So this would be sodium sulfate. All right, well, sodium is in group 1, so it's a +1 oxidation state. So Na is +1. There are two of them, right? The subscript next to sodium is 2. So that means Na is +2. All right. Oxygen is always -2, right? That's what we just said. There's 4 of them, so that's -8. But we don't have a rule about sulfur. This is not a binary compound, so we can't just say it's the anion charge. All right. So now we have to kind of figure out, well, how do we get sulfur? Well, this is where Rule 8 is really important. Rule 8 says if there's no net charge on the molecule, everything has to add up to 0. So 2 and -8 make -6. That is the current net charge that we have, right? We have a +1, we have a -2. So we have +2 -8. That's our overall charge. So right now we're saying this whole molecule is -6. But we know that's not true, right? Rule 8 says if there's no net charge, it has to be 0. So since the compound has to be 0, sulfur has to be 6 here. And so we would say that sulfur is +6. And that's how we would assign the oxidation numbers to each element in this problem. All right. So you take the rules. All right, let's go back and look. You take the rules and you use the rules to give everybody that you can an oxidation number. Whoever you can't give an oxidation number to with the rules, you use Rule 8 and you set it equal to 0, or if there's a charge, you set it equal to the charge and you solve it. All right, so let's move on. Let's try these. Here's sodium sulfite. So same set of rules, right? +1, -2. All right. So we have a +2 charge. Now we have a -6 charge because -2 times 3. So that would be equal to -4. And so in order for the thing to be 0 in this case, sulfur must be +4. There it is. Sulfur can have multiple charges. That's allowed. A lot of elements can have multiple charges. Okay. KMnO4. All right. Well, K is +1. It's a group 1 metal. Oxygen's -2. So +1 -8 is -7. So manganese, excuse me, here must be +7. All right. Let's look at this one. So ignore this 2 for the moment, and let's just assign. So we know calcium is a +2 because it's in group 2. We know that nitrite, all right, oxygen would be -2. But now we have -2 times 3 times 2, right? So -2 times 3 is -6, and -6 times 2 is -12. So we've got, all right, so we say over here on the right, we have +2 plus 2n, because I know it's 2 times whatever the charge on nitrogen is, minus 2 times -2 times 3. All right, so there is the setup that I've got. So we say +2, plus 2n minus, all right, we have -2 times 3 is -6. 2 times -6, all right, is going to be, oh, sorry, that should be plus. 2 times -6 is -12. All right, now we just solve. +2, -12 is going to be 10. So 2n equals 10. Divided by 2, n must be +5. And there we go. All right, so it's just a little simple algebraic experiment. That's all we're doing here, a little algebraic expression. Solve for your unknown. So you guys pause it, solve the next couple. I'm going to go ahead and just pop the answers up on the screen, but pause it, solve them out, make sure you can get it. All right, pay close attention to these two, because in these two, we're not equal to 0. All right, they have a charge. So this, when you solve this one, the overall molecule will equal -1. When you solve this one, the overall molecule will be equal to -2. All right, so I'm going to give you a minute, hit pause, solve it, and I'm going to pop these answers up on the screen. So here we go. We have 4 plus 3 plus 6 and plus 6. So that's what we're looking for. So we're looking for the oxidation states for these guys right there. Hopefully you found those. If not, let me know. I'll see if I can help you. All right, so now let's look at oxidation reduction or redox in terms of an equation. So when we look at a reaction and we want to know if it's redox, first thing we do is we go through and we give the oxidation numbers for all the elements. So we do what we just did, but now we're going to do it in terms of an equation, not just find sulfur in this compound. The element that is oxidized is part of the reducing agent, okay? The element that is reduced is labeled as the oxidizing element, or oxidizing agent, excuse me. And that'll make a little bit more sense in a moment. So the element that is oxidized is part of the reducing agent. The element that is reduced is part of the oxidizing agent. That's the name of the whole chemical species that it's a part of. So let's do one of those. Identify the oxidizing and reducing agents in this reaction. So the first step is to go through and assign oxidation numbers to all the elements. All right, so there they are. Now let's make sure we understand how we got there. So the first one, I just have a solo element, hydrogen, okay, and it has a positive charge, so the overall charge for hydrogen must be +1. I know that manganese, when it comes to oxygen, is this manganese oxide, excuse me, when it comes to oxygen, oxygen is going to be -2. So I'm going to have -2 times 4, which is -8. So Mn plus -8 is going to be equal to -1. All right, I should say -1. There we go. Because there is a -1 charge on this species. So that must be +7. All right, because 7 minus 8 is -1. All right, I know oxygen here is -2. So I have 2 times carbon plus a -8 equals -2. All right, so add 8 to both sides, you get 6. 2C equals 6, so carbon must be +3. On this side, I have a solo element with a charge, so manganese over here is just +2. All right, the apparent charges on water, this would be -2, this would be +1. I have 2 of them, so +2 and -2 is 0, and that's what I have there. And then for carbon dioxide, I have -2, so -2 times 2, carbon must be +4. So that's how we've gotten all of those charges. So there they are. Now, the second step is to identify who changes. So manganese goes from +7 to -2. And so it was reduced. The charge went down. This should say -2. I need to go and fix that. -2. Okay. That means MnO4 minus is the oxidizing agent. Okay. It is the thing that is going to carry out the oxidation. Who else changed? Well, carbon went from +3 to +4. So it changed. Now, ask yourself, look at the numbers. Did anything else change? Well, hydrogen didn't change. All right. Neither of my oxygens changed. So I've only identified who changed. And like we said before, it's usually only 2. So carbon was oxidized from +3 to +4. And that means it is the reducing agent. So this is not overly difficult stuff, okay? It just takes a little bit of practice. So if you have questions, let me know. I'll be glad to help you guys out, all right? And I'll see you guys in the next video.